Hello there people, this is Bruce to be cool or Nintendo, and guess what? I'm not psychic, but apparently this next character is. It is Saya. Now what does he have? Guess what? A psychic deck. Now it's not a very well built one, or rather it hasn't got full potential of a psychic deck anyway, but it can still be irritating. So let's go through some bits and see what strategies we come up with. Now, what is quite irritating is he's got a lot of cards which destroy certain things on the field just by paying life points, which is quite a fair trade as long as he can keep his life points up. Now, in terms of boosting his life points, it's only really from his synchro monsters. So, rule number one is try and keep his synchro monsters away. What you want to do is just let him waste his life points, and then all you would have to do is just hit him with a few cards and that's it. Now he's got quite a few, well, in fact almost all monsters which require life points to activate certain effects or even just to be on the field. Like I say, that is bar the synchro summon monsters. So for example here, Krebons, you could pay 800 life points and it will negate the attack. Simple as really, and with that being a tuner, 2 stars, that is quite irritating as his synchro monsters go from 5 stars to 7 stars, 8 stars and even 9 stars. On top of that he's got a Mind Master, another tuner, which is 1 star, but he can sacrifice 800 life points to then swap a monster from his side of the field into his deck for up to a level 4 star monster. So again, it's trying to tune for certain monsters that he requires. He also has, I've forgotten what it's called, it's probably, oh, Psychic Commander. I was going to call it Machine Gunner, I was going to make up a new card there. But yeah, Psychic Commander, 1400 attacker, 3 star I believe, also a tuner, and he can sacrifice up to 500 life points to boost his attack by that much as well, and he can do that in the battle damage step I believe it was. So yeah, a lot of stuff which pays life points but can drastically alter monsters on the field, so you do have to be careful with that. Other than that, his other monsters aren't too bad. Destructoid you've got to be a little bit careful of, because it's a monster which can destroy any card on the field for a mere cost of 1000 life points. So I would probably suggest some chainable cards. If you're running a burner like I am, then that's no problem. But if you're running a beatdown deck, then you might want to consider bottomless trap holes. So he'll always pay 1000 life points to try and destroy the card, but then you'll just banish him anyway. So that's not too bad. Oh, Psychic Jumper, I don't like that. Basically, you can just swap monsters, and because I've only got my Blast Sphere down there, I don't really want my Lava Golem back. We'll see how this turns out. That won't wipe him out, but hey, it's better than the alternative. Anyway, carry on. Psychic Jumper. So obviously you probably saw there, pay a cost of 1000 life points to swap monsters. It is from controller's choice though, so it's exactly like Creature Swap. And I believe Psychic Jumper was also a tuner, so be careful with that. Lifeforce Harmonizer, what I was going to get onto as well. Lifeforce Harmonizer, and he's also got Barrel Behind the Door. If you run a burn deck, then that would either negate or reflect the damage, respectively. So it can be quite irritating, but up against a beatdown deck, it's just dead cards that he's got there. Barrel Behind the Door, though, can get rid of some of his payments to a degree. It's not payments that it targets, but things like Telekinesis or Psychokinesis. It's a spell card which take 1000 damage and destroy any card. And with that he can reflect the damage to you. So that's an annoying combo, but nothing too you know, detrimental to wipe you out. Now we've gone through most of the monsters. His beat sticks are Psychic Snail, which is a 1900 attacker monster, and you can pay 800 life points to let another monster attack twice. Now that sounds kind of weird. You think, well, why would you want to do that? But if there's more than Psychic Snail on the field and another monster, then he can pay 800 life points God knows how many times. So say for example he's got 4 other monsters on the field, he could pay 3200 life points and each one of those monsters can attack twice. So that's quite a good trade there, so be careful of that. Armoured X whatever it is, I think, I can't remember the name, I'm not going to lie, but basically I think it was a 6-star, and he can just summon it normally if there's a psychic type monster on his field. By normally I mean he doesn't have to do a tribute, so quite irritating. And what else was there? Oh yeah, I've already mentioned Destructoid, but I'll go through it again. I think it was a 1600 attack monster, and again just pay 1000 life points to destroy anything on the field. Okay, let's get on to his synchro monsters. Now, very nasty if you let them appear. The first one, which I believe was 5 stars, I can't remember, 5 or 6 stars. The Psychic Android, 2400. So you know, quite a big beat stick, to be honest with you, just to synchro summon out straight away. And if there's any psychic monsters on his side of the field by the end of his phase, then he gains 600 life points for each one. So that's one way of him gaining life points. The next one up, the Psychic Life Enhancer, I believe it's called. He can just remove 2 psychic monsters from play from the graveyard and gain, I think it was either 1000 or 1200 life points. Again, it's irritating. The 8-star one, the Psychic Archfiend, I think it's called. Now that's more of a beat stick. That one's 3000 attacker, I think it was. It was either 3000 or 2500. Can't remember. But yeah, whenever he attacks, I believe it's life points he gains. And then the 9-star, now that is a horrible one, Psychic Hyper Blaster. If he destroys a defense position monster, not only does he cause bleeding damage, but he also gains life points for that as well. And having 3000 attack, it's not very likely that you're going to shove anything in attack mode. So try to keep those psychic monsters off. Those synchro monsters are very horrible, and that's most of the strategy. He does have other spell cards which aren't really that brilliant. So I think it's Research Lab, where instead of paying life points, he can just choose to put a counter on this Psychic Lab. And when you destroy that card, he takes 1000 damage for each counter he's got. So unless he's got Barrel Behind the Door, that is going to kill him, to be honest. Oh, here we go, Destructoid. I think we're going to activate this. This is a perfect example of chainable cards against him. So yeah, lovely stuff. What else has he got? I've already mentioned Psychokinesis, I believe it's called. Take 1000 damage and destroy any card on the field, so you might want to have something chainable there. And also Emergency Teleport, which gets, I believe it's a 2-star or less, you know, onto the field on his side. So he more than likely gets Krebons just to negate the attack, and then the monster's destroyed at the end of it. If he activates it in his turn, then he can tune, so be careful. So, in a nutshell, burners are okay against him. Just watch out for Barrel Behind the Door and the Lifeforce, whatever it is. Beatdowns are very good against him. Just watch out for his. I think he had bottomless trap holes, so be careful about that. He doesn't have too many trap cards, so don't worry too much about that. And stallers in general, just be careful with his destroying cards. Chain if you have to, and the main thing to remember again is make sure he uses his life points up first, and then you deal the final blows later. Anyway, I hope that helps you. Leave comments, and I shall get to you guys again soon. Take it easy.